Okay, I am here in Tainan, sitting in a Starbucks with my Starbucks cup. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something here, and it's about what I plan to do at least with the Four Seasons One Family podcast. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now, and this COVID-19 and the situation between China and the United States, and as their relationship connects to me here in Taiwan, has caused me to think about how I can use this channel to kind of get the world out, get the news out to the world, the information to the world that people have a lot more in common than we think, but also at the same time stressing how life is out here in Taiwan. You see, as a foreign national living outside of their home nation, you get to see the world in a whole different way, whole different perspective. And sometimes the things that you see may not be flattering to either your host nation or your home nation. And at some point, you have to come to a realization that in order for the world, people of the world, to live together in peace, some things need to be said. Some things may not be flattering, like I said, to your host nation or your home nation, I should say. But somebody has to stand up and say something because silence is a way of promoting complicity to some of the things going on in the world that's not beneficial to, in the long term, to anyone in the world, only to selected individuals who have power to distance themselves from the suffering or the physical desperation people are going through in some parts of the world. And this is bothering me. This COVID 19 Wuhan virus, whatever you want to call it, has caused me to really think a lot. When I hear people back in the United States not willing to put on a mask because it infringes on their freedoms, it's laughable to me now. It's laughable that how people from our home nation are lucky to have the freedoms they have, but sometimes their selective amnesia and in some cases how democracy may have spoiled certain individuals is really forcing them to go into what I feel is the wrong direction. And if I'm wrong, let me know because I change my mind based on the new information I have. That's called growing. That's called educating yourself. But all in all, I think that people should learn more about each other and take more time to understand, like I said earlier, people have a lot more in common than they think. Instead of being allowed to be clouded in their decisions by outside influences that control, in most cases, the media that we consume, those who seem to have the power to, well, persuade people to follow a certain way of thinking. And of course, there's many people who don't agree with the position of their leadership, but they don't dare stand up because they fear retribution from their community. Now, here on YouTube, the mouths here are very loud, just like on Twitter. But I'm beyond that now. I spent the 3 years with this podcast trying to promote and really encourage people to share their cross-cultural experiences. But now I see that another type of position needs to be taken to push awareness in front. Now, once again, me being located out here in Taiwan, I see things differently. Recently, I've been paying hyper attention to the relationship between Taiwan and the People's Republic of China and the CCP government there. I've also been observing some foreign nationals in China who in my observation, really do have selective amnesia. Now, I'm directing this mainly towards the foreign nationals in China who are good people, but the few that I have had the opportunity to watch here on YouTube are presenting things in a way that the world is picking on China. The truth is, China has been picked on by the rest of the world. I mean, ferociously. I mean, we all know the situation with the opium crisis and how the West used and enslaved China in many ways. We all know about the Nanjing massacre, what Japan has done to China. We know all about what China has went through the Cultural Revolution, Wenhua. We also know about those in China who want the people of China to have free and open thought. And I'm not here to argue much about that, but what I am against is the false narrative of foreign nationals living, especially in the People's Republic of China, and not paying particular attention to what the government there is doing to a certain section of their population, and that's bad sentiment that the government there is pushing against the people who have less financial resources, education, or access to information outside of their country. And keep in mind that these foreign nationals are using VPNs to flip over the Great Wall to talk to the rest of the world, where the people of mainland China are not allowed really to take part in open discussion on the international internet. I find that quite hypocritical of many foreign nationals who are saying that the world's picking on China and China's this wonderful place. China is a wonderful place, and there's a lot of places in China that I really miss visiting. And I have a lot of friends and classmates in China that I still communicate with and respect. But it really should be seen as hypocritical for someone to flip over the Great Wall and talk how free it is when the people of that nation are not allowed to legally see what's happening in the rest of the world. But there's more to cover. And I think I'm going to have to take more of a position facing examples like these. And it's going to be tough. I'm going to be hounded, but I'm beyond that. Even some foreign nationals here in Taiwan are not willing to open up their mouths. I guess when you have an investment, and sometimes the older you get, the less likely you are to take a stance in some things. But I think we should all remember that the time we have on earth is limited. And the best we can do is to use the time that we have on this planet to make things better for the next generation. Keeping silent, like I said, is a sense of complicity to some of the negative aspects around you. And yes, there are a few that really don't have the ability to make their voice heard. But me being here, I hope can be used as an example to get people who are thinking the way I do to help make things clearer. I do believe that people are innately good, but there are those in all cultures and society who are taking advantage of our lack of physical resources, financial resources, and in some cases, exposure to certain experiences to focus us to go into a direction. I think it's important for us to be responsible, to become more responsible and ask questions like why, who, just keep asking questions. And we find our questions being blocked or not answered, we should make the effort to dig deeper. Living outside of your home nation, you also learn that not all forms of religion or government is suitable for all people who come from a different background. But truth is truth in all languages, nations, and cultures. Fairness is all the same in all cultures, nations. And to block these, what I feel, basic rights is not going to help anyone learn about each other. So, if you have any idea on what direction I could further take to help obtain this goal to get the word out, let me know. And thanks for listening to me here at 4Gs One Family, and take care wherever you are in the world. 再见。